Hello, 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 and welcome to the Cup TV, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. Her. And you know what I love more than giving y'all tea a little bit? It's my cup mug, y'all. And you can get your cup mug at lologyscreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below. And we do ship internationally and domestically, so there are no excuses. And if you want to click that QR code, it'll take you right to where you can get your cup mug. So go
Scan it.
scan the QR code right now and get your cup mug, period. And thank you.
Well, I'm David Healy.
And that's
I don't
it.
have an. I
And
don't
you
have
don't have a
intro
cute
for
intro,
this.
neither a cute t-shirt this time.
Right, I'm so used to doing the drag channel where I have an intro, but I don't have one for here. So guess what? I'm David Healy. Period.
Love it.
Take it or leave it. And I'm Micha, your Parisian, usually Drag Race correspondent. But since we don't have, we do have a Drag Race queen here, then I'm gonna be here as well. I don't have a cute cup mug, but I do have a cute tea just for the occasion, and it's chocolate tea.
I love that. Well, y'all, we are here talking finale of Project Runway. Yes, I know it's a little late, but guess what? I went outside this weekend. I touched grass. I had family. I had plans. So we had to push it back. But we're here. We're back. We're going to do it. It only feels right to talk about the finale with two people who've only been on the show once or not at all. We love that for us this season. But no, look, I love having new voices here talking Project Runway with me. The more the merrier, I say, because I love Project Runway so much. We've converted David into watching Project Runway and loving Project Runway. So that's a win for us here. And then Micha out of nowhere said, hey, I like Project Runway too, because Utica is on there. If we get to get all the people to watch Project Runway just because Utica was on there, we will take it. We will take it. You all can watch it, love it, because it's a great show. I've been watching it since season one, and it's an amazing show. So the more people who can watch it, that means it'll stay on the air because I don't want it to go away because it's so great. So yes, everybody watch Project Runway. Amazing season. We're here for the finale because what a finale it was. We had a great time this entire season, and now it's going to wrap it up with this one episode. This is what I don't like, and I will say this as a Project Runway fan. I don't like one episode finales. I like the 2 episode finales where we had the home visits. They sent them away for a month or two. They go home. They make their collections. We have Tim Gunn visits. We get to go meet the people behind the scenes. We get to see where they are in their collections. And then they come back to New York and it's fashion week and they're in the zones and in the things in the trenches and they're getting their things. Everything we saw in this one episode, we usually see it in 2 episodes with other stuff involved. I like that more because it gives me more Project Runway. It lets me know who these designers are when they're not in the workroom surrounded by the people. Like, it would have been lovely to see VJ at home in her studio doing her thing, and Jesus away from VJ so he can calm down and focus on what he needs to focus on and not fighting with VJ, and Ethan in comfortable in their space doing their thing, making their collection, and then having Christian come over and just ruin it all because, like, nope, don't like it, nope, don't like that, fix that, don't do that. And then they're like, well, by the time they come back to New York, whole new collection, everything fits. That's what I want. That's what I miss. I hate that they don't do that anymore. But not to say that this episode wasn't enjoyable. It was an enjoyable episode nonetheless. But I just wanted what I'm used to. Well, I guess all things must change. But you know what doesn't change? Us here at the Cup TV. We don't change. Subscribe to us because we don't change and we'll continue to be here giving you content all the time from TV, track, and Eurovision. So hit all those links, do all those things. Subscribe to all the channels. Subscribe to each channel on the Cup Network. Help us get 1,000 new subscribers here on the Cup TV. Help us get 1,000 more subscribers on the Pod, and help us get 1,000 subscribers on the Cup ESC. That's what we're trying to do. Follow us on our audio podcast links. Join our Patreon. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky. And if you want to be a voice on this podcast, you just hit us up in our DMs on Instagram, and we will get back to you as soon as possible because we are looking for new voices to join us on this podcast. So if you're interested, hit us up. All right, now.
Wait.
Yes.
Before we get into this episode, can we talk about a bombshell that was dropped on one of our sister channels? The Cup. What's it called? The Cup? Just the Cup?
Mm-hmm.
You all did a recap last week for Drag Race Philippines, Slasion Royale, with Kikiko. And she dropped some news on you, didn't she?
She really did. Kiki dropped some news on us saying that Kiki, as well as 3 others, including Utica, were
And
all
Gigi Good.
It was Utica, Gigi, Kiki, and she said somebody else, but she couldn't remember who the 4th person was. That they were all reached out to join this season of Project Runway, and she was very close, like in the running to being the person to represent, I guess, drag on this season of Project Runway, but they went with Utica instead. And I was like, oh. So me personally got to thinking. I said, so if we got Utica this season on Project Runway, maybe we get Kiki Code next season on Project Runway, and then we can get even more people coming from the drag universe into the Project Runway universe, and then more Canadians because Kiki Code is Canadian. So we get more Canadians coming into the Project Runway. I thought I was mind blown when she said that. I was like, say what? Wow.
Yeah,
That should be like Traitors. Sorry, yeah. That should be like the multiverse when Traitors invite each season and he also. And look, if Suki Doll, imagine her on Project Runway, that's going to be phenomenal. Speaking of Canadians.
Yeah, I was trying to think about it, like just based on the 3 names that I knew that were out there in the running. Kiki is an interesting one because I hear what they say to Utica about like, oh, that's too drag. And when I think about looks Kiki makes, they are so draggy, so extravagant. And I'm like, can I picture her doing a streetwear look? I can't, but I would love to see it. So it would be really cool to see how she handled Gigi. I could see Gigi. I feel like Gigi's a lot more like fashion than drag with the look she makes. So I think Gigi would fit in perfectly.
But David, have you watched Call Me Mother? Because there Kiki actually made something which kind of resembles streetwear pretty much, because there they did, Kiki. And,
I did watch. I don't remember, but
yeah, because like both Kiki and who else was there who later went on, Michaela and Sanjana, they used to make some looks which are pretty much like jeansy, streetwear-ish. So it was in that realm. I think she can bend and do that as well.
I want to see it.
I would love to see it. I think because what we saw from Ethan this season, I think he did a really, really, really good job. And with the streetwear look, I was not mad at the streetwear look either. So I'm like, they might be more well-rounded than what people are giving them credit for. So I would love to see more drag artists who do design, who can truly and honestly design, be on shows like Project Runway. And yes, we do need to see Ethan in 2 All-Stars. We need Ethan / Utica in 2 All-Stars. I'm here for that live.
Could win both. Could win both.
Could win both.
Especially now.
But yeah, let's get into this episode of Project Runway because it was a lot of drama, foolishness for no reason, but then in the end, everybody made up and was happy again, and I kind of love the resolve of it all. But I mean, we're starting off. Oh shoot, I forgot about that. We're starting off with the who's going to leave. We saw the Antonio walking out. That's the last thing we saw before Antonio walking out. He's mad because VJ said some things about them on stage and they were upset. They're not kind. VJ said they're not kind.
I
And
mean,
they
to be
couldn't
fair, all three.
understand why VJ would say that they were not kind. But then they turn around right and, oop, not that. I hit the wrong
Whoops.
thing. That was
Don't
last
look at
week's.
that.
That was last week's. That wasn't even this week's. I don't even know what that is about. That was last week's. But um they couldn't even understand why she would say that. But then turn right around and berate her and be not kind to her on that stage. Like she's like, I want to work with someone who's kind. And they're like, what do you mean I'm not kind? I'm kind. I don't understand why you're saying I'm not kind. I'm the kindest person you ever would meet in your life. And I was like, I wonder why she doesn't think you're kind. I don't
Yeah.
know.
See, I listened to your all's podcast last week, and I felt like they were more upset about them bringing up the fact that they don't need the money.
They were excited. Both could be. They were mad about both.
I think that's what they were mostly upset about. But the funny thing is, so I actually thoroughly enjoy the twins this season. I thoroughly enjoy VJ. Everything that they say about VJ is so true. It's so true. They just do not know how to say it in a tactful way. Like they have the worst delivery in what they say about her, but she is the biggest pot stirrer. She knows exactly what she's doing. She plays victim. Oh my gosh, you guys, why would you say that about me? Why would you? And I live for it. I live for it. That's why VJ, like, they need to have their own reality show, the three of them. Like, make them roommates, put them on the real world. I don't know. I would because
and imagine, them being in concurrence with Belania versus La Roche on a different competing reality show. It's going to be phenomenal.
The same thing can be said about Antonio and Jesus. Everything VJ said about them is true. But they don't want to accept the truth. Like, you are emotional. You don't know how to work without each other. You constantly need each other's validation to go through things. You constantly are not nice to people when they don't agree with you. Like, everything she said about them is true, and everything they said about her is true, but they don't want to recognize it from each other that, yeah, we may not be nice to each other. Maybe we might be a little codependent on each other. Maybe I am a pot stirrer. Like, yes, you are. Everything that the funniest thing was watching them going back and forth on stage and seeing Belania and Ethan just like, oh, okay. Like, what did we do? It was so messy and ridiculous. And then you throw La Roche in there just making it worse and adding on his old commentary and asking questions like, so who's the better one? And I don't want to answer that. It's just so much unnecessary drama in this situation. But I lived for it.
Jesus was like, I don't want to answer this truthfully, so I'm not going to say anything.
That's why we missed not only the two-part finale, but also the reunion episode, like seasons, like in season 12. We missed the
reunions.
Imagine, it should be like.
See, this is the only context I have for Project Runway.
Oh no,
this is why they need to keep having drag queens, because you're getting new audience members like myself.
Right, because David, they did a whole reunion, and this is when the people get to go home and watch what people had said about them, and then they get to come back and confront them about it. It's spicy. That's why I'm like, why are we doing this? I don't want this. I want. I don't know. Maybe
at least
I don't
two
know.
Project Runway reunions were almost as spicy as Drag Race season 9, and that's saying
a lot. It was two of them. It was definitely two of them. I was like, it was so good. But yeah, it just blew my mind how they were just both right, but neither one of them wanted to admit that they were right. And yes, I do agree with you, David. They were a little more upset with the money situation, but you see, they did not deny it. That's why I was like, you are better off because you do have established working relationships. You are your own brand, so you don't.
I mean, Utica. Utica cannot be hurting, right? Like
I mean,
she's a successful drag queen. So.
I'm
But she
sure, but see that the question wasn't directed to Ethan. The direction was
exactly.
directed to Jesus and Antonio, who has a well-established business. And she was like, "Y'all had no problem saying you didn't want me in the finale, but then when I say I don't want you in the finale, it's a problem." I don't think so. Like it was crazy,
I did
but
a little more personal than other people did,
Sure.
which is
yeah,
fair. Which is fair.
but yeah, they did decide.
It honestly, it was like, okay, we know it's going to be Antonio and
We
him.
know it's Antonio.
Like,
We know it's Antonio. Like
yeah,
that was easy.
I honestly, my prediction was that it was going to be Antonio and VJ out.
I wanted that to be. I wanted it to be Antonio and
Mhm.
VJ. I'm gonna be honest. I was like, I think Bolania's look was better. And to be honest, I thought Bolania's look was better.
So
And
we're all on the
so
same page.
I think it is my
I
favorite thing
Houses.
she's made because I've not been a fan of Bolania's.
that yeah.
Her aesthetic doesn't appeal to me. I thought this was the single best thing she's made.
I would say
Bolania
she,
or VJ.
Bolania.
Oh
I would say she was hit and miss for me because when she hit well, but when
yes.
she misses kind of big, and sometimes
hmm
yeah, but this
hmm
one was genius.
This
The
one
green
was genius. I
costume.
was like, this one should have propelled her to the finale. I don't think this was the look that they. It was looks that they could have put her out on, especially that science fair, unconventional challenge look. She could have been going on that one if y'all just didn't want her to make it to the finale. Like send her out there because that was the right one decision to make. This look did not deserve to go, but I'm not the judge, and they decided to send out Antonio and Belania, and I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
It pays to have a built-in drama for the
I
finale. I'm guessing.
I guess because VJ did not deserve to be in that finale from that look for that particular look because it didn't fit. Was it a good look? Oh, absolutely. Was it like an amazing editorial look? Absolutely. Did it fit the brand? No. It didn't fit the theme. It didn't fit the brand. And one thing about Project Runway, they are big on brand and theme. They're not like Drag Race. We're like, we don't really. If the theme it don't hit the. No, they have always been a stickler for brand and theme. And if you don't hit the theme or the brand, they will send you home for something minus so minuscule. But
And
I was like,
especially given that, yeah, on Project Runway historically individual challenges weigh more than track record overall, and that VJ in
absolutely.
particular was heavily criticized on episode 2 for doing a very good look which had nothing to do with like sportswear. I mean, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. I've been surprised because my old roommate, he's always like, "Oh, they go by what you did in the challenge. Track record doesn't matter."
Means
But
nothing.
it really has felt like track record has mattered quite a bit in this show.
And I feel like that's a change that is
So
happening
no,
that
no.
I'm not particularly a fan of because that was one thing that I liked about Project Runway. Because one day you're in, the next day you're out. It has nothing to do with track record. It has everything to do with what you present right in front of us. And if it's good and it's on brand and it's on theme, you make it. If you have a slip up one day, you out. Who cares if your track record? You could have won every single challenge up before that. You messed up this time. You gotta go. That was the appeal to me with Project Runway, and I do feel like they went by track record, they went by design, drama, they went by what they think is better TV. Who would be better TV? Because Melania would have been very calm and cool. Like she would have been freaking out. If she would have freaked out, it would have been her own freak out. She wouldn't have fought with Jesus. She wouldn't have fought with Ethan. Like it would have been none of that. It would have
Her
been
biggest
chill.
drama would be her just doing
No.
like
And La Roche,
when
yeah,
getting
her and
critiqued.
Lo.
Like she would make like subtle eye.
Right. It's just like, just
That's it.
I'm not trying to be.
Yep.
And then pouting. Like that
I
would
get
be
it, though. I
Melania.
would
But
be the same way.
right, like I internalized my frustrations and then, I think they were just going by drama, so
Maybe. But still, she provoked a huge outburst of drama from La Roche quoting Tyra to her face. I mean, that was iconic in itself.
I like that. I know Logan didn't like that, but I thought that was funny.
That was cute, yeah.
About quoting Tyra. I thought it was funny
I've
too. I was
never
like,
yelled at a girl like this.
yeah, never yelled at a girl like this. I was like, yeah, of course he found a way to put that into his monologue when Tyra Banks is sitting right there.
Because it took
I
me a
think
second. At first,
I
I
think
was
it
like,
went over
"Whoa,
Tyra's head a little
that's
bit.
it." Oh, because I thought he was really upset with her at first.
Yeah, no, I knew exactly what he was doing. The second he said it, we're rooting for you. We're all rooting. I was like, okay.
That's
But
what
I
knew.
think Tyra, it went over her head. Like she was like, was it that serious? I was like, girl, he imitating you. It's like, come on. But
This
we
is
do.
also the first time where we didn't find out who won the challenge until the
Mhm.
next episode. So I was surprised because going into like I've had a week to think about it, and the more I've thought about it, I'm like, I think the clear winner was Jesus. Like I thought Jesus's look last week was so good. It really felt like it could be something straight out of the movie. And watching this episode back, it was like, oh my gosh, this is stunning. I think it's one of his best things he's made the entire season too.
It was.
I
But
And I
think
liked Utica or Ethan's, but not as much.
I think what pushed Ethan's look over Jesus was the avant-garde criteria, because if you judge it by the strict challenge that is an avant-garde challenge, then considering that it's more really out there, Ethan's was the most out there, even despite the fact that they all hated the panties.
that's what I
That was
that was it. I was like, Ethan would have lost because of those panties. If it was me, you lost. Jesus's was so good, and I even think it was avant-garde too. The way he had it going up into the spike of the crown on the head, and this curved like Elphaba's hat. I was like, it meets the criteria of avant-garde. It meets the criteria of Wicked. It's giving me Elphaba. It was so good to me. I thought Ethan maybe I didn't like some of the sequence. I thought it was a little too much, a little bit for time. But I thought Jesus's look was way better than Ethan's. But Ethan's was good. But that panty, I said, Ethan, that was the like you could have made her a green panty. You could have made her a black panty. Like that white beige white pant. Come on.
Interesting. On the podcast with the drink, I mean, they have been recapping the entire season together. Ethan said that he was they were so in their head at the point that they just forgot the color of the panties completely until it was shown on the runway, because in the workroom, of course, the lighting is completely different, and the panties were basically not that visible. The fabric was not that transparent, but on the runway it became clearly
very clear. Very clear.
That makes sense, because I'm like, how do you overlook that? And Utica or Ethan is somebody who seems to pay attention to every detail. So it was like, how did you miss this?
That's crazy.
I think it's because the lighting is so different, and still.
But still, black. Come on, Ethan. Put on a black panty with that. If you're doing Elphaba, put on a black panty. Yes, that thumbs down for that panty.
My opinion is that I felt like they didn't want Jesus going into the finale with 3 wins and the other 2 with 1 each. I think they wanted to even it a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe. But after the removal of Bologna and Antonio, the final 3 find out what they have to make 5 looks for their last challenge, and they're going to have 5 days to do so. And so after they get to go sketch, they get their money, they get to go to move, they get their fabric, do all the things, start planning. And when this is when we start seeing different processes start playing out. We see Ethan is kind of like, okay, I know what I'm doing. It's probably going to be a lot of draping, avant-garde, kind of, flowy. He's picked the fabric he found, and he was like, okay, I like this. This works. I'm going to do this. He went in with a game plan. Jesus has his plan together. He's sketched. He has it. He gets into the workroom, and he is cutting right away. No thought. He cutting. He making stuff happen. He is sewing. He is getting stuff done. VJ,
we have to remember the part where he's like, I want to use pink for my brother because he was going to do pink. It
And
really
he
felt like
wonders
died.
why nobody why everybody keeps saying y'all so codependent on each other. Like now you're gonna have I'm gonna do a pink collection for my brother. After everybody been saying all season, you can't do nothing without your brother. Everything is about your brother. Sure. But then he did a pivot and was like, but this is also for my mom because pink is for my mom and she loves pink and it's gonna be for my mom. I was like, but it's really for your brother. But it's okay. It's okay.
But
It's
I
okay.
mean, to be fair, we still got the confirmation at the end when the runway was projecting and the mom was crying for pink.
He was
So
crying.
I think it was true as well. For
I
her.
think it was true, but he did it for his brother. He did it for his brother. Then we had VJ. VJ is walking around with her sketchbook, and she's just like, what am I gonna do? She's picking up her fabric. She's looking at it. She's putting it up against the mannequin. She's putting it down. She's thinking. She's flipping through. She's flipping through. She puts the book down. She walks around. She looks some more. She picks up some more fabric. She puts it down. Then she grabs the muslin and she's ripping it. And she's putting it on the model, on the mannequin. She's draping it. And then she puts that down. And then she stands back and she goes. And I was like, VJ girl, you gonna do something? Are you gonna do something? Are you going to cut anything? Are you going to sew anything? Yes, you have 5 days, but you can't spend a whole day of thinking and walking around and thinking. And by the time Christian comes into the workroom, Antonio got like 5 things done. He got jackets on models, dresses on the models on the mannequins. He got dresses on the forms. Ethan is draping things. He's flipping stuff around. And VJ has muslin on a mannequin. One mannequin has muslin on it. And Christian is like, girl, what you doing? What are you doing? Where's your stuff? She's like, I'm working. You're working on it's coming. She's just smiling. It's coming. I was like, girl, nothing. Half a day is gone, and she had nothing. I was like, oh, I'm worried. I'm worried.
But VJ is kind of pulling Nymphia wind there. That's for you, David. Reference totally. Like,
no, I get that.
I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah. But...
Oh my gosh, I'm going to be in the bottom, you guys.
My gosh, guys, I don't know why you're talking to me like that. I don't know. What do you mean, Christian? I don't have anything. It's all up in here. I know what I'm doing. VJ, I was like, girl, do something. But then she did. She started whipping it around. She started getting some things. And then, of course, as always in Project Runway fashion, we get some help coming in, and we see Antonio come back for Jesus Stalker. I thought he was coming back for VJ. I thought he was going to help VJ.
That would have been wild if he did.
That would have been wild. That would have been
just
great
sabotaged
TV.
her.
That would have been great TV. But no, Antonio comes back for Jesus. Eugene comes back for Ethan, and my beloved Miss Joan is back. Yes, I was like, Miss Joan is here. I can't, and she comes back for VJ, and I love that. I figure Ethan was gonna get Miss Joan. I thought it was going to be Ethan with Miss Joan because of their relationship and how. But I also do remember seeing how close BJ was with Miss Joan as well. Look, who doesn't love Miss Joan? Everybody loves Miss Joan. And if I had to pick somebody, I would have picked Miss Joan because one thing Miss Joan can do is tailor and sew. I would have picked Miss Joan too.
True. I do remember though, like I think it was episode 2 when Ethan got to pick his team, and I'm pretty sure he picked Yuchin first.
Oh,
so
probably.
I think they have a good rapport.
They were pretty fast. Yeah. Do you want more tea? Because Ethan has spilled some tea on the selection process. It was cut from the episode, but actually, as a winner of the last challenge, Ethan got to pick whom to pair with whom. And so he selected. It was just cut completely from the episode, but he actually selected Eugene for himself, and so Antonio for
Okay.
Jesus,
Who picked
obviously.
Antonio?
And Miss Joan went for Eugene, but his initial thought process was to be like a bit more devilish and not pair the twins together, and instead give Antonio to Vijay to mess things up completely, and take Miss Joan for himself. So, but he
He probably,
decided against it.
he should have did
I
that,
would've
and
loved
he probably would have won. Because that would have been a disaster on our hands if we saw VJ with Antonio, and he would have probably been so busy helping, still going over to try to help you, Jesus, till he couldn't. But I'm glad Ethan was fair. That was very nice. But I would, even though I still would have picked Miss Jones, because like I said, Miss Jones can tailor a suit and she
Absolutely.
can sew like nobody's business. So I would have picked her for myself. I'm trying to think of, besides before we get to the model picking, because I'm making sure that there's
That's very
no,
juicy.
because that's the very juicy part of this
Yep.
thing, because there was nothing else. No, they came in. Yes, let's go to the model selection, because this was probably, out of 21 seasons of Project Runway that I have watched, this is probably the most pettiest and most intentional, like messiest model picking I have ever seen in my entire life. This was like, th- VJ, I'm looking at you. Come step to the front. Come, you know that man has picked that model the entire season. The entire season, never without fail, has this woman been with this man in this model union, this model designer union. They have been together the entire time. That is clearly this person's muse. Clearly their muse. And for you to come in on finale and say, but I've always wanted to work with her. I just wanted to work with her. And so I'm going to get her first since my name is first. You knew exactly what you were doing, Miss Mama, and you can't tell me or convince me otherwise what you were trying to do. You were a pot stirrer. You knew stealing that amazing model from the person who she's been with this entire time was going to cause some ruckus, and you did it anyway. And then you wanted to sit there like, what? I just really wanted to work with her. She has a great walk. I really wanted, ma'am, ma'am.
I don't know what I did.
What I did, ma'am. Come
I love her.
on. I am not convinced. You can't convince me otherwise. She knew
Yeah,
what she was doing.
Yeah.
absolutely. And the effect you see on Jesus's head is immediate. It's like
The
super
way he
hot.
turned his head when she said it, she was like, what? He, and I get it. I would have been livid too. I would have been losing my mind if you take the muse that I have been using this entire season and you wait because you get picked first to snipe her from me, and you didn't try to do that at all this season at all. Because you could have had her any other time. Because they do pick models. And so she could have picked her any other time, but you wait to the finale to Miss Ma'am. I see you, BJ.
I see. And yeah, shout out to Utica for picking up Jamie CD, the New York City drag queen, also known as
Yeah.
Jimmy, out of drag. That
Right.
was so cool because it was the only male model on the runway who is already a drag queen. So
Yeah. And very
double
attractive.
advantage.
Oh, yeah,
Indeed.
very attractive, absolutely. But VJ does eventually like
Concede.
fine, because Jesus cut a fit. Jesus was like a 2-year-old child who you just took away their favorite toy, and he was, I mean, calling this woman all out her name. He was yelling at her, and he was like, "You know what you did. You know how it is. I see you. You're gonna." I was just like, wow, this man does not know how to control his emotions in any situation. Like, I would have been mad at him and like, "Oh, you can do that. You know you filed for that." But if you think taking my model is going to help you win, then so be it. But I will show you that that is not the case. Like, I'm not gonna yell at her. And he cussing her out. He calling her everything but a child of God. Like, she is everything but the kitchen sink up in here. And I was like, Jesus. So he literally battered her out of saying, okay,
It worked.
fine. It worked. Okay, fine. Take her if you must. If I was that model, I'd be like, look at all this drama I'm stirring up because I'm that good. I wish I was, but like, how? Who's right? Who's wrong?
Both
Look,
or no one.
everybody's right, everybody's wrong. You
Exactly.
know?
And this model, by the way, also good tea that she actually taught other models how to walk during the season as the season progressed. So that's why she was so
Beautiful.
appreciated by everyone.
Yeah. You can tell
She's
she's really good at what she does.
She's really good at what she does. I thought this was crazy, but VJ eventually gives her back, and it's like, fine, you can have her, whatever. And then as soon as she gets the model to Jesus, he's like, okay, thank you. I'm like, hello, hello. What is? Oh, that's like the
The
whole.
switch is flipped.
You hurt my feelings. Okay, thank you. It's like, what? What? That's crazy. That's wild. But the model fitting happened. They do their thing. Christians walk through. Oof. Poor
Chaotic as well.
Ethan. Poor Ethan doing this walkthrough because, like I said, Ethan who had been working hard on all of this draping, all of these things, everything he had pretty much made. He just had to do some finishes on some things. He had it done. And Ethan's walkthrough, Christian's walkthrough was just like, hmm,
No,
we've
no.
seen that before. We've seen that before. We've seen that before. Are you just going to put out things we've already seen before?
I want a gown.
Right. I want one of your showpieces that we're so used to seeing. And he's like, do you know how long it
How many?
takes me to make those gowns? It takes about a week for me to make something like that. And now you want me to do it in a day. That's a lot. Ethan was like, I don't. Now Ethan is he's spiraling. He's freaking out because now everything that he's done is not good enough. And he's freaking out about it. And I would have freaked out too.
Exactly. How is he like the ever bending guru? How can he bend so fast in like a daytime?
Right. It's,
But he
it's
can.
crazy. It's wild behavior, but he's freaking out. He goes over to Antonio. He's like, you, not Antonio, Jesus. He's like, you have so many pieces here. You might need to figure out what you're going to work with and perfect that. Like, you got so many things, mix, match, figure what works. He was pretty much like straight. I think had a whole lot done by day 3. He had pretty much a whole collection done. He just had to figure out what pieces go where, who goes with what, and what models work best with these looks. VJ had a good amount of things done. I want to say by day 3, she had a good, and with Miss Joan there, they had figured out a lot of stuff. But she also in her pick of the model, she got one of the famous first trans model, one of the famous trans models who would to be in her runway, and she was going to be the showstopper piece. And so she decided to go for the chain gang look for that model. And so when they were trying to figure out how to make it work, it was she had lots of different ways she was going to try to make it work, whichever made sense. Christian was like, you might want to cut it here. It's going to be heavy. You might not want it. One thing I can say I appreciated about Christian this season is they just didn't give critiques and walk away. It was giving a critique, then trying to help them make it better. How could, as a designer himself, seeing the designer eye, it's like, if you want to, you might want to cut here. You might want to take this off. Don't put too many things here. It was not just, I don't like it. It looks like an old granny blanket. Like nothing like that. And then just walking away. It was always a critique met with a solution or maybe how to make it better. So I did respect that about Christian a lot this season.
Mm-hmm. I agree,
do.
but I felt like sometimes he was putting people in like an impossible situation. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, you have this much time left. You better do this thing that's impossible. And I feel like sometimes he would just frazzle people
Which is his
because,
job.
yeah, because he would ask for a like pivot that was so extreme.
Mm-hmm. I mean, asking you to make a showstopper piece in the day,
And
little
in this
kid.
case, but it in this case it kind of worked. But yeah, poor
Yes.
Ethan and his nerves. I think still like Christian is like a bit of a chaos goblin himself, because unlike Tim Gunn, who would like push people to pivot like so far away only in like extreme situations, Christian seems to be doing this for drama and fun. So maybe
Mm-hmm.
really Project Runway is moving more towards like drama creation, as Lana said.
Mm-hmm. 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 Very much so. That's why we didn't get Tim Gunn back,
It is a
because
TV show. So
it is a TV show, and
But Tim is
after
also a
so
good
many,
TV. So
you got to make it interesting. You got to make people want to watch it. So we get down to the last days of getting their fittings, their models. We see VJ and Jesus try to come up with some resolution. They're like, look, we are here. We're, going through this experience together. We both said things that are not nice to each other. We both done things that we don't like. And so I don't want to, VJ's like, I don't want to end this competition us fighting. I don't want to end it where we can't get along. I want us to all get along, enjoy these experiences, enjoy these last days. So I want to apologize to you for what I've done to you. And Antonio in return not Antonio. Jesus in turn, see, they so close together. I couldn't keep them apart. Jesus in return apologizes to VJ about how he's talked to her and treated her, and they hug it out. And they're like, we're gonna be friends. And I was like, oh, that's lovely. That's
I
lovely.
Yeah, I buy it though. I've kind of gotten a frenemy vibe between the three of them all season long because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes they're kind of working together, sometimes they're against each other. The big example I think of is the time they had the vote and they had to actually vote somebody out. And VJ seemed to be one of the strongest people fighting for Antonio, saying
Mm-hmm.
Joseph McRae is an insult to this competition and all this bullcrap. But you could just tell that they were aligned very tightly in
Mm-hmm.
that moment. So it just comes and goes.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I think they enjoyed the back and forth. They know what they're doing. They know this back and forth is to go give them some TV time. They knew they was getting all the
Everybody
screen
want good
time.
TV? Is that what they want?
Who doesn't want good TV? They wanted good TV, and they were like, "Are you all not entertained by how we kept this season all about us and the fighting and the back and forth?" And then everybody else was like our supporting characters, and that's how they played it. And you know what? Good on them. If that's what they were doing, good on them, because it only made it entertaining. But I would have liked to see more other people, characters being shown on the show, so we get to know who they are as, designers as well. But
yeah, I mean, it was interesting because, as you say, it was like a pivot TV-wise. It is becoming more and more drama focused. But on the good side is that the win distribution was pretty much very equal. Nobody had more than 2 wins, and it's
mm-hmm,
pretty cool all across
mm-hmm,
season. And people who were even like earlier outs, like Yuchin, say, who else got a win? So it's kind
mm-hmm,
of not bad in that regard.
absolutely. So honestly, I think they get ready for the show, and it's time for the show, because I really don't feel like there was any other thing that happened in the work area coming to that. So let's go to the show, because that's the main event here, and that's what I want to talk about. These designs, this. So let's talk about Ethan's collection. We're going to talk about the collections as a whole. So we'll go through the collection, everybody, and then we'll talk about the collection as a whole. What was your favorite pieces? What stood out the most? That sort of thing. So let's go through Ethan's collection. This is his first look, and this is his second look. And this was his third look. This was his fourth look. And this was his final look. Now I'll go back to any look you want me to go back to. So if you need to go back to some looks, just let me know and we'll go there. So let's start with you, David. What did you think of Ethan's collection?
I like this. So I didn't know exactly what to expect for a finale runway package, but I actually thought Ethan had the most cohesive with all five looks. Like you see a through line for them, and you see how similar looks could fit on different body types or different genders. Like the first two looks that we saw, I thought those were the most similar, but they're very different body types. You have a full figured woman in this one, and then you have this smaller petite girl here, and so they look similar but they work on different body types, so I really appreciate that. I did think that the this one, the vampire look they kept calling it, that was a real standout for me. This was one of my favorite looks of the entire night. I do think the fourth look was probably the most like kind of an afterthought for me out of everything. But then the showpiece in the end, I thought was stunning, and it just showed real craftsmanship that he was able to pivot and make this thing, which does not look like it was easy to make. So overall, I was extremely impressed with Ethan.
I would agree. For me, for the cohesiveness point, the cohesiveness of it all, for me, it was also the most cohesive collection. I was kind of, not gonna lie, a bit pissed with the judges because while the models were working, they kept saying some pretty random stuff, as like Laura Roche was saying about the second model. Why wasn't she the opener? And I was like, why? Because if anyone, it should be the vampire, quote unquote, boy, which was also quite annoying. They kept calling him the vampire, our boy Jimmy from NYC, but whatever. So if anything, if changing the order, probably I would also put Jimmy first, but the final look, the showstopper look, is where it absolutely should have been. And also when the final look was walking, I think it was LaRoche as well who whispered to Heidi that why isn't Ethan walking himself on the runway as Utica? And then they would bring up again this separation between the drag queen and Ethan, which is so annoying, and make it make sense. Like, do you want him to walk or do you want him to separate? But yeah, I love the color scheme. I agree with David that the fourth look was probably, I wouldn't say the weakest, but given the quality and the caliber of the entire collection, it was probably the least show-stopping. So the kind of the safest one for what we've expected from Ethan. But otherwise, yeah, it's great. Looks number 1, 3, and 5. This showstopper piece we're seeing right now, it's just some of the best things we've seen the entire season from anybody.
I have a slightly different perspective about Ethan's finale. I thought his finale was it cohesive? Absolutely. The color cohesion, everything about it. It was very dark. It was very goth. It was very, dark humor, dark, not humor, but dark quality. And I can appreciate that. I thought it was a good collection. I don't think it was an exciting collection. That was my issue with this collection. It was a typical collection that you would think to see from someone who's like, I'm going to do goth, dark, vampire-y. That's my theme. This is what I would expect to see. I would expect to see all dark clothes, some very sexy vampy pieces, some very the showstopper was just, I thought this was the best in the collection, was the showstopper piece. My favorite piece in the whole collection was this look. It's something about these shoulders that I'm just really vibing with. It's not even about the bottom and how big it is. It's just something about those shoulders I'm really liking. But I just feel like this collection was good, but not exciting. It didn't move me like I want a finale package to move. It was good, but it wasn't great. Like it, I guess in the dance term, it's good. I was waiting for it to be better. Wait, I was waiting for it to be great. This was good, and I appreciate it. I think Utica is an amazing designer, but still has some work to do when it comes to fitting women's bodies and not depending on like breastplates where you can move and shift to where you want it to be. Breasts don't work that way. Breasts do not work that way. They're not the same size. You can't just put them where you want them to be and they just go stay there. Sometimes they shift and move, so you have to build clothes with the support to keep them in place if that's what you want them to be. And a lot of this fashion, it was always a problem with the bosom areas. Even in this look, it's like it's the shoulder piece and the way it's going is great, but it's still like no support for the boobs. And that's my main issue with Ethan this entire season. I need you to work on real women's bodies if you're going to do design, if you're going to design for real women's bodies. Like our bodies don't move like that. Like women's bodies. I'll say that because even um everybody, if you don't have breast surgery and or you don't have fake boobs, they move, they sag, they droop, if you have real boobs, I need him to work with real boobs and not just breastplates, or because that's going to be an issue. But I think this collection is good. It just didn't move me like I wanted. I was really excited that Ethan made it to this finale, and I'm really excited that they did. I just wanted to see it just elevated just so ever so slightly. But
I do want to add about you saying it was good, not great. I feel the same way, but since Ethan was out first, I was like, okay, I'm slightly underwhelmed because I had no other context of what was to come, what has happened in previous seasons, but just hearing like that they usually get like months to work on this.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I'm expecting mind-blowing things. I didn't get that from this, but what I saw from the other two, we'll get into it. I'm like, okay, I adjusted my expectations for Ethan based on what I saw from the other two as well.
Absolutely.
And also, it's his first ever runway collection, like in 5
Absolutely.
days. And
Absolutely.
also, I absolutely agree with Lana on the boob situation. But if you remember, if it was the cowboy episode, if I'm not mistaken, where the boobs were literally the worst part that Ethan has done. I think it was the cowboy episode 6, episode 7. And since then, it's still a step up. I understand what you say about imperfection, especially in look number 2. You can see clearly that the breast part is not yet fitted that well, but still it's a step up for him. It's like learning pretty fast. This one.
That one. This one too.
This one,
If both of these looks, if you're going to do women's boobs, you got to put the support in the dress. If they can't wear a bra, you got to put the support in the dress to hold them up, so they can have, because we women want to have that cleavage that we want, and if our bosoms don't do it naturally, we need the support to push them up and let it do it. And so that was my only issue with Ethan, is like he needs to learn to put the support into the garments that they create. So, but like I said, good, not great. Let's move on to our next collection, and it is from VJ's. So we're gonna check out VJ's collection. Look, number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5. David, coming back to you.
Yeah, so if Ethan was the most cohesive, I felt like VJ was the least cohesive of the 3. It kind of feels like the first 3 work together in a collection. We start off with the first one that's very metallic with lots of fingerprints all over it, which bugged the heck out of me. And I'm not a fashion expert, so my opinion means nothing. But to me, this was not appealing to me at all. Did not like this. And then we get this one, which also has that same metallic with the fingerprints on it. Great. And then it has, I don't even know what material this is for the wool. Okay, that makes sense, because I was like, oh, this looks like one of the bad fabrics that they had in, I think, episode 2 or 3, where they had like bad materials to work with. And then we got the third one, which is a big focus on the wool. And there's probably some, like, I do think that she shows her curves very well. To me, is it Is it something that's appealing to me? No, it kind of feels like a decently shaped sack on her.
Mm.
So I did not love this. But the first three, I will say, they feel like they're a collection that works. And then we get this jarring jump to number 4, which I think looks really good. This is one of my favorites for sure. But it really doesn't fit in with everything else. I think this is the most like disparate look out of the whole collection. And for me, that's a good thing because I like this. But then we get to look number 4. And this one I respect more than I enjoy, because for me, I want to be able to look at fashion and not think about the pain aspect. I couldn't with this. When I was looking at this, I was like, wow, this looks physically uncomfortable. She looks stunning, but it looks cumbersome. It looks heavy. It looks like it would scratch your skin up. So that was kind of taking me out of enjoying it. I love VJ. I do not like this final collection from her at all. This is good, though. I will say it's good.
Yeah, I'm pretty much as torn as David is on this. First of all, it's definitely the least cohesive of the three, hands down. Secondly, I did love the inspiration, but it went from Terminator to some other movie VJ watched with their father, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, I also enjoy the look number 4, but it has nothing to do with anything in the entire collection. Look number 3, it does hug the curves of the model's body pretty well, but it still looks like if, and I'm not shading that deep, I promise, it looks as if somebody tried to emulate Utica's almost winning bag ball look with a plain material, but kind of failed. Also, number 2 looks definitely like a recycled kitty. I mean, I took the material from earlier in the season and mixed it up with metal, and here's what we got. So I actually enjoy look number 1 if I squint and I don't remember this fingerprints, because otherwise it does indeed look like a car wash, which has not been washed properly, ironically enough. But I love the showstopper. I get what you're saying, David, about it being physically uncomfortable. I think also the expression of the model the entire time she walked on that runway kind of underlined it in a sense. But maybe it's still my favorite showstopper look of the 3. But it's also like thinking of this like uncomfortableness. Is it again a case when Project Runway is moving towards Drag Race direction, where judges are wanting people to be uncomfortable on stage, and like not wishing that on them at all? But I love this look. The final look is a stunner. But yeah, I mean, 3 out of 5 is kind of enough for me, and yeah, that's a surprise even given the body of work of VG all throughout the season. So that left me perplexed and confused.
I don't like this collection at all. I don't like anything about this collection. I was so floored and blown away by how much I did not like this collection. The first look came out and I was like, oh, absolutely not. Like, what is that? It just looked like a metal roof that's just got bent and put on, like those tin roofs. It's just like, why are we doing that? And then it was like, it was probably intentional, but like the skirt and the thing just, what is going on here? Oh, what? Oh, you were doing that. I thought I did it. I was like, oh no.
Yeah, I moved it to the one you were talking about. Sorry.
It's just like it's just disjointed, and it was like rocking when she was walking, and it was. I don't like clothes and pieces that feel like it's just some kind of material that's not supposed to be on your body, and it's just rocking the side to side, and I don't like that kind of material. And so this for me, I didn't like that. And then you go into that second look, and it's like you put the same material on there with this wool fabric, which makes it look like a potato sack at the bottom, and then like a baked potato you just threw in a potato sack bag. Like that's literally what she was doing. And I did not like it. And it made her model look square. This is a petite girl. She's not square at all. And this whole look just made her look very square. So I wasn't a fan of that. But I did like the third look. I liked how it shaped the model and how it fit. I think this is the most everyday wear-ish of look out of this collection. Like I could see somebody on the street wearing this
A
or
different
something like
material, maybe?
different material, baby, different fabric, different color. Like all of that could be so much different. I think this color is this pea green, whatever this is. Ugh, don't like it. Don't like it. It's just, ugh, I don't like it. But she did make it fit her model to a T. Like that's what you want boobs to look like in a dress like that. That's what you want your curves to look like in a dress like that. So for that, I will give her props. Then you go to look number 4, and it's just like has nothing to do with this entire collection. Absolutely nothing. I think the pants are cool, but it's like, okay, but what does it have to do with this collection? Nothing. It has nothing. No elements that are like not even a little silver for the next look. Like I can see if it was transitioning into the next look. It's not even transitioning into that. I don't know what this is. And then the last look, like I said, it looked heavy. She looked uncomfortable. She looked like she couldn't walk in it. And I don't want to see the model looking uncomfortable. But I can't fault the model for being uncomfortable when you put 12 pounds of chains on her. What do you want? She's not going to be gliding on the runway when she's weighed down by chains. And so I'm like, oh, this whole collection just did not do it for me. And this whole thing just floored me of how everything turned out. I was like, I am confused. I am absolutely, utterly confused with everything going on here. But yeah, I didn't particularly care for this at all.
Sorry, I was actually Googling how many 12 pounds is in kilograms, and I think we should multiply it by at least 2. I think it looks like 24 pounds pretty much.
I mean, it probably, but it just looked heavy. It looked like
sense.
she just looked like she was just bogged down in all of these chains, and it just looked uncomfortable. And this was my least favorite collection out of everybody. I did not enjoy her collection at all.
Yeah,
At all.
The only thing I knew after seeing all 3 of them, I'm like, okay, we know VJ's not winning.
That's what I said.
That's the only thing I knew for
the
sure.
Same thing.
That
The
is
same
exactly
thing.
what I said. I said, "Oop, VJ ain't winning because this collection, no." But let's go into Jesus's collection, and let's start with look number 1, look number 2, look number 3, look number 4, and look number 5. David.
Yeah, I like this collection. I like that there's a through line with everything. You definitely see where it is. I mean, we start with the first look, which is very pink. It fits well. It looks like it could use a little bit of tailoring. I think that's the issue that I had with all of his looks, was that they felt like a good first draft, like it feels like there's a lot of potential here for it to have a good final product. But then we go to the next look. This probably isn't the best picture because there's a lot of movement here, but you see potential there. You see the through line. You also see wrinkly parts to it. So once again, it just felt like, okay, you need to up it, the quality of it. And we get into the next line, and this is where we get this other material on there as well, this silverish greenish material. I don't love that. I don't love that part of it. I think there are really cool elements to this look. I like the high pants. I like the swirly sleeves. Once again, it just feels unfinished. And then we get to the fourth look, which is my least favorite of them. But that's because it is focused on this other material. I'm like, where's the pink? I want to see the pink a little bit more. But once again, what do I know about fashion? I do think the final look was easily my favorite. A lot of it had to do with this beautiful, perfect model we have. She knows how to present anything as if it's the most beautiful thing to ever walk on the runway. But the single reason why I was like, he should not win is when she turned around. Yes, she turned around and you just saw this big glaring zipper. I'm like, I don't want to see that. I want to imagine that thing is painted on her. I don't want to. I don't want to know. You took me out of the fantasy with the zipper. So that's why for me, this was my second favorite package overall.
Yeah, well, totally agreed on the placement. It fell exactly in between Ethan and VJ. But to be honest, it's just like, for me, it's barely better than VJ's overall. There is only the final look of the one which I really, really, really enjoy, even despite this obvious glaring zipper. And there were like probably 8 seasons ago on Project Runway where one of the finalists tried to teach everybody how to make a zipper from the side so it wouldn't show like this on the back, on the front. I actually don't remember who it was, but yeah, the image is ingrained in my mind. This final look is great because the model modeled it like perfectly. It also looks the most fit on her, and it hugs her body so well, which is an issue, exactly as David pointed out, for most of these looks, because they do look kind of overwhelmingly big in the parts where they shouldn't be, especially looks number like 3 and 2, where I love some details. Love especially the roughly parts, the cuddly parts, which you want to kind of cuddle, but you want to cuddle the most with the final look, the showstopper one. And looks 2 and 3, you can kind of want to cuddle with all this like pink ruffles, which are kind of separate the tentacles from the rest of it. And so love the color, but no. And look number 4 is also easily my least favorite one. It's interesting how all 3 collections had look number 4 as being the odd one out. Kind of trying to steer away from the theme. In VG's case, like there was almost no theme, and it went even further on another orbit, another planet. But here, it's I really don't like the shiny green snakish slithering fabric. Like, why are they slithering over this pink bosom? I don't know. Like, what are we doing here? The model looks great, though she's also kind of in pain the entire time she walks on the runway. So, yeah, it is what it is. The first one actually doesn't look that pink for me. Maybe it's also because of the lighting. It kind of looks more red. Ruby-ish than pinkish, especially here. Yeah, the first,
Oh, you're right.
Almost,
It looked red to me.
This one looks very red, and it did look the red to me at the time I rewatched the episode. So I don't know how it's tied into it, but also like this Piero the Clown sleeves. I mean, good for Jesus that he tries to fit in almost everybody in almost every look interchangeably. But I mean, the final result kind of suffers for me. So the final look barely eaches it over VJ for me, but otherwise I'm also not madly in love with this collection.
To be honest, I wasn't in love with none of their collections. Absolutely all of their collections. This was a very subpar finale for me. Out of all the seasons of Project Runway, this was one of, and I'm not saying that we hadn't had some other low season finales, but this was one of the worst ones, I will say. And I think it's this whole 5-day business. This is this whole 5-day garbage that they doing instead of giving them time to really focus and make a real and true connection. This is still Project Runway with them running around the workroom for 5 days coming up with something, and it's just not enough time to really think out and plan out a really amazing collection for a finale. So it suffered. This was because all 3 of them had just looks. So I'm like, oh my God, why would you put that in the collection? Why would you even add that? That green slithery, no. Absolutely did not need to be in there. VJ's 4th look, like you said, everybody's 4th look didn't need to be there. All those 4th looks could have gone away and didn't need to be in these collections because all of them were bad. This was not, no, this just didn't do it for me. I think my favorite part of this runway, his collections, was the first one and the last one. They were the 2 looks that I was like, okay, these are good looks. The zipper, sure. I didn't like the zipper, but I can look past the zipper if it's a good outfit, if it's a good look. And this is a good look. So I can go past the zipper for a minute, but this model, she ate it up when she did what she did. And like you said, she can make anything look good, but she made this look really, really good. for me, I think Jesus would have won it for me because I'm like, out of all the three collections, I was moved more. And when I said my needle did this a little bit for his, and it stayed still for Ethan's, and it dropped for VJ's. Like it was just like, zoop, and it was like Ethan's was there, and Jesus was like, okay, I'll move a little bit. I moved a little. This last look made me move a little. That first look made me go, ooh, okay, and everything in the middle was like, oh, well, okay. This just wasn't a good finale for me, and I wasn't very happy. I
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's why I was saying I had to adjust my expectations after I saw everybody else. And it was like, okay, actually, maybe Ethan's was decent because the other two didn't live up to my expectations, especially because I think Jesus has been the most consistent person this season. I think he's very much been on the top pretty much every week for me.
Yeah, the only week when he legitimately dropped the ball was the makeover, and that was like the only one, basically.
Yeah. Oh, I was underwhelmed with this finale. Very underwhelmed, and I thought, but I just knew one thing I knew for certain in my mind: VJ wasn't winning.
Right.
VJ was not winning. I said this collection is not winning. This is between Jesus and Ethan. I don't know which one go take it, but it ain't gonna be VJ. And you know what the judges said? Screw you, Lana. We don't know what you're talking about because VJ is winning. And I was like, what do you mean? From this collection? Or are we doing it on track record? And even on track record, she shouldn't have won.
She's
What are we?
twice the track record.
What are we doing? I have never been so blown away and wrong about a Project Runway finale. I was like, any other time I'm wrong, and I've been wrong. I've been wrong. Any other time I'm wrong, I would go back and look at it and be like, you know what? Okay, I can see why. I still don't understand why VJ won this season. I don't get it because this collection was not it.
Yeah, it's funny for me though because with me really not liking her collection and thinking she was a clear third place, I still could not be mad about her winning. Like, because there's just something endearing about VJ. I like that she takes big swings and she has big misses. She's had some of my least favorite looks of the entire season. But I still was like, okay, I respect it. There's other times where I see winners of shows and I'm like, what the heck? I'm mad. This is not right. This time I was like, this isn't right, but okay, I'm fine with it. And I don't know if you all felt the same way, but I really was not bothered.
I was not mad. I was like, oh. I was like, VJ won. I don't think she should have won, but all right, whatever. That literally was like, whatever, sure.
I also was not mad. It's just also kind of, a thought glanced through my head that maybe in this scenario, we're also moving more towards Drag Race World, where we have to choose each winner of each season afterwards, like differently from like a different perspective, that they should not repeat the archetype, the stereotype of the winner from the previous season. And in this case, VJ is pretty unique because, like, first of all, it's cool to have the first trans woman to win Project Runway in all this like 21 seasons. But yeah, I wasn't mad either. It was just like I was baffled for a bit. Especially after hearing all the judges, all judges had to say to all three of them.
Yeah.
And like adjusting what I just saw to what they were saying. But yeah, I'm not mad. I mean, good for them. Good for VJ.
I wasn't mad. And when you say so different from the last season's winner, totally different from last season's winner. Their aesthetic is totally different, so different. And so I'm like, okay, that could come into play too. I could see that. I wouldn't be upset at that, but I was not expecting VJ to win, but congratulations to VJ for winning. I mean, you did it, girl. Props to you. Shout out.
And it was a good week for
it. It was a good
week for the Philippines because we had Jessica Sanchez win America's Got Talent. I loved her on American Idol. Didn't watch her on America's Got Talent, but I know everybody in the Philippines was thrilled about all of the wins they were getting.
I love
Mr.
that.
I think Mr. There was some sort of male pageant where Philippines won as well. So
Okay. Well, good on
Yeah.
that.
She will be
Philippines, shout
celebrated
out.
thoroughly. And later on this autumn, also sorry, the winner of Slation Royale is also kind of maybe want to be
There'd definitely be
Filipino as well.
Philippines. There'll definitely be somebody from the Philippines, but
Something's telling me yes.
yeah, I
the
have no
ratio
doubt
we
in
have.
my mind they're going to be somebody from the Philippines, and that's great. I'm just saying everything good on the Philippines for winning.
Yeah,
We love that for you all. We love a good season of winning for everybody. So I'm here for it. I don't have to like the collection. I ain't gonna wear none of the pieces, but I wasn't a judge either, so it don't matter what I think. But VJ did what she did and she won. So congratulations to you,
absolutely.
VJ. This was an incredible season. I enjoyed this season. I enjoyed watching it from beginning to end. What did y'all think overall? Overall, the season.
yeah, so this is the only Project Runway season I've seen. I was thoroughly entertained. Like I said last time I was here, I was like, why haven't I been watching this for the past several years? Did I always agree with the decisions? No, but that's okay because I don't know much about fashion. I don't look into like magazines and all that, but I
Mm-hmm.
just was thoroughly entertained by the personalities, the drama, and the quality of the looks overall. I did find it interesting that our three finalists were all people who have competed before on shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
so I think maybe the experience of having done it before helped each of them out.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I would agree with both of you in one aspect. It's like eighth or ninth season of Project Runway I've been seeing, so not all like Lana, but not as few as David. So I'm in between from this point on. I think it's an adorable season. It's phenomenal. The fact that it's gone more into like TV / drama wise / quick whip something. Let's change the image as fast as we can. Actually, did benefit it quite a bit because we had quite a few personalities there who were ready to shine, and the interactions were pretty much priceless. And yeah, this was one of the better seasons I've seen. I was also slightly whelmed by finale, but I'm not mad at this. It's not the case when finale crushes the entire season. However, I would say I love it, especially in Project Runway, when the person who's like kind of an underdog really slays everybody in the finale, like in season 11 with Michelle, when like she literally bodied the finale while being
Mm-hmm.
almost on the brink, like, and being brought back, and she did it, and that makes like for a more compelling story. But here it's still like it was very cool. I mean, and all the TV personalities knowing how to interact and creating really some of the most show-stopping looks ever. And even if sometimes I was like very angry, especially when Miss Joan went home in the coat I loved so much. I would have a copy of this. I would wear it in any
Mm-hmm.
rain, snow, anything, hail,
The trick.
blizzard,
Mm-hmm.
anything. Yeah, in my like, imaginary church, I would definitely wear the hell out of this coat. So yeah, it was full of so many adorable people, and
Mm-hmm.
the result, I'm not mad at it at all. It was very entertaining.
Absolutely. I think it was such a overall it was a good season for me. I enjoyed watching it. I'm very happy with it. I'm glad we got to watch it. I'm glad we got to watch it and talk about it during the season, not a refill. We just abandoned the refill and came right back to this season because it was just that good. And I appreciate that. I love that. And I can't wait for next season. I hope they whatever they're going to do, whatever they're trying to do to rebrand it, they get it, they get it together. They figure out what works for them, what they could change and switch up. But overall, I thought the season was well, like really well thought out. Really, it was really well. I enjoyed it a lot, and I'll watch it again. I will be sat for next season when they do it again. I will be back, and if y'all want to put Kiki Ko on there or Gigi Good, then go ahead and do it.
So,
Go ahead and do it because I think it'll be a positive thing. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about it. But that's it. We did it. That was the journey. We finished it. I know Logan wanted to be here, but they're not feeling well, so you know I'm sure they'll tell us their thoughts in our group chat. Sorry, you all won't hear it, but we'll hear about all the thoughts and the details about this from Logan's perspective. But we appreciate you all for joining this journey with us. We had a great time talking Project Runway this season. We will be back next season. We're going to start the refield up again soon. I'm not sure when, but we will start up and finish up season 8. And then we're going to go into season 9 and so that maybe we can persuade some other people to join us in season 9 refields and things like that. We'll see. But we're gonna end it here because that's it. We ain't got nothing else to say. We thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. Please do all the things to say you support us because we appreciate all of your support. Subscribe to this channel and all of the channels that we have in the Cup Network. All the links will be in the description below in our link tree, as well as our audio podcast links, our Patreon, all of our socials at the Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky, and where you can get your cup mug at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. I'm trying to put the thing on there. Hold on.
There's a QR code.
It's a QR code. I want you to
get ready to scan it.
Scan it right now. Scan the QR code for all of your cup mug needs at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. Also, hit our socials up. If you want to join this podcast or any other things that we're doing, you want to be a part, hit us up on our Instagram DMs and we will get back with you. So on that note, we're going to get out of here. In fashion, one day you're in, and the next day you're out. And we are out. Auf Wiedersehen. Cheers.